All right, welcome back to the channel. It's the Bald Bearded Bicyclist, and this is the Thursday Fireball Series, week 10 of 12. I'm just starting off a little bit into lap 1, a little bit of a gap here, so I'm gonna go around this rider, and I see this is the front group. My teammates were on the front, and so I take that opportunity to attack through. Didn't go crazy hard there, but nice 800 watts, and I'm holding some good high to mid-range power for a little bit longer. Normally I'd probably settle in a little bit sooner, but to make sure I got that gap, I held bigger watts a little bit longer. Fortunately, I don't have a rear cam again, rode out to this ride. But the only one that was really on my wheel is Tyler here, and he's going to come around. So I was happy to see that just one person came with me. And I think we maybe slowed down a little bit too much for that turn. Just shortly after we were caught by the group here. So I'm going to see teammate Rich come around and see that this group is pretty much together, so I'm feel safe just kind of letting myself fall back just a little bit further up. We almost all got run over by a lawnmower. That was interesting. And then Jim's gonna take a little attack here as everyone was just kind of chatting about the lawnmower. I heard some comments about Final Destination. And so Jim's got a little bit of a gap here, but it's quickly can kind of see that everyone's interested in keeping it together. If I didn't close this, other people probably would have come around. I probably should have let them. But honestly, I was a little bit interested in trying to make sure I had a good position here. So I got, if you've seen any of these series before, Todd and Moose are my main competitors in the standings at this point, and they were both in this group. So it was a little tough for me to want to let that go. Now I'm kind of looking for an opportunity to attack this group, and before it kind of got closed up a little bit as I was still carrying speed, and so I just decided to attack when there was a bit of a lull. I didn't have really much more speed than them, and I thought maybe they'd let me get away. But just a little bit further, this smaller group kind of catches me. And I see there's kind of some gaps. I was going to let the 3 of those guys go, but then I see Todd, so I'm going to try to latch on to him. There is still, I believe there was a little bit of a gap behind me, but there's guys working to bring it all back together. And this is only lap 2, so it started hard. There were a lot of attacks, and we're 8 minutes in. Now jumping ahead to the next lap, 9.5 minutes in, and I'm just looking for that opportunity. Around the corner is usually there's a little bit of a surge, and so I'm going to attack from the back of that pack. You can see Mike Maywalt looked over, and he is going to jump as he saw me come by. There was a bit of a gap between the two of us, but he's going to work hard to close that, get on my wheel, and all of a sudden we are in a break of 2. So he turns to me and he said, that's a real gap. And so we immediately get to work, and we're pushing 30, and we start working really well together. We're both, can tell, committed to it. I know Mike's never afraid to get in a break and do work, so I feel good about this. And this first lap, we went pretty hard on our poles to make sure that we could get some separation. So we started this break about 9 minutes and 45 seconds into the race, and you'll see in just a bit that Sam, we noticed after the third corner probably that somebody was coming, and I realized probably right before the straight finish that, like, oh great, it's Sam. He's solo bridging, and I know he's going to work with us. So I got really excited that we're going to have a third person. He didn't bring the field, and he was able to make it up to us. So it took him close to 3 minutes to catch there. So he must have been really working hard, because obviously Mike and I were working together and going pretty hard that first lap. So kudos to him. That's a hell of an effort to make it up to us. And I think he only skipped one pole. I was happy to let him skip a pole. So I had an issue there on that turn. I let a gap open, not purposefully, and everyone was working so well together. Mike saw that, recognized that I let a little gap there, and he just popped right back in. I thanked him. I tried to do an extra hard pull when I came to the front. So, that's the kind of stuff that you got to do in a break. And, everyone was just really committed to it and really trying to work together. If you see one of your break mates struggling, sometimes you just got to help out. I appreciate both of these guys did that for me. I think one time, for whatever reason, I was having trouble on that corner in the break. But this is the last lap, and we were still working. I mean, you can see my watts aren't quite as high. That's probably partially just because I'm tired. But I had kind of talked to the guys on 2 to go, and I said, hey, let's not mess around until like last lap. If we need to make sure that we're away before we start playing around. And honestly, I was surprised Mike still pulled through as hard as he did on this last stretch. So we're on the final stretch, and I think it became clear to me that he was fine, just like we were in the top 3. And he was happy that he made it in the break and was doing work. And I talked to him after as well, and he was just like, yeah, I was gassed, and just happy to get top 3. So that's cool. So I was trying to keep an eye on Sam here, and then I was trying to keep on the wind protected side, which is the right. So I was kind of guarding it a little bit, but I made 2 mistakes. I was maybe too far off to the right here, and I think I hesitated. So I'm watching Sam, and it just took me a bit to react, and I'm way too far to the right. Like, I wanted to make sure that like Mike couldn't come around me, but I should have just read him better, that he wasn't really going to go for the sprint. And if I was directly on Sam's wheel, I maybe could have done better. But I was basically fighting as much wind as he was. But he also has probably a much better sprint than I do. And to do that after his huge bridge effort and all the work he did in the breakaway, he did fantastic. But took away second. So I am looking pretty good in the standings right now. I'm 4th place, and we've got 2 more to go here. So make sure you're subscribed, and it's going to be a fun closing to this series. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, because right now we are caught up. So I don't know what's going to happen either. All right, tune in. See you out there.